Hello. The subject of this video is why is it that a half note doesn't get half a beat? The answer is because the name half note has to do with its relation not to the beat, but to a whole note. So a whole note looks like this. That's a whole note. In 4/4 time, a whole note is going to get 4 beats. The bottom number is how many beats a whole note gets. So, when we have a half note, now a half note looks like a whole note, but it has a stem. That's a half note. So a half note doesn't get half a beat. It gets half of what a whole note gets. So half of that. So half of 4 is going to be 2. So a half note is going to get 2 beats. If we continue down the line, next we come to a quarter note. A quarter note gets 1/4 of a whole note. So if the whole note is 4 beats, the quarter note, 1/4 of 4, is going to be 1 beat. The next kind of note is an eighth note. Now remember, an eighth note can have a flag like this one, or it can be a group of them beamed together with a single beam. So an eighth note, because it's called an eighth note, gets 1/8 of that whole note. So if we take that 4 and divide it by 8, we get that an eighth note is worth 1/2 of a beat. Next we have a 16th note. Now a 16th note can be written like this with 2 flags, or a group of them can be written with 2 beams. So a 16th note is going to get 1/16 of that. So if we take 4 and divide it by 16, that gives us 1/4 of a beat. Now, here's where this is really important, because a whole note doesn't always get 4 beats. If we have a different time signature, for instance, if we have a time signature of 2/2, then that means a whole note gets 2 beats. So our half note now gets half of that. So half of 2 is 1 beat. Our quarter note now gets 1/4 of that. So 1/4 of 2 is 1/2 of a beat. Our eighth note now gets 1/8 of that. So 1/8 of 2 is 1/4 of a beat. And finally, our 16th note is now going to get 1/16 of that, or 1/8 of a beat. So it's really important that we understand that the relationship of the notes is to the whole note. So that fractional name means that's how much of a whole note it gets. It's not really a relationship with the beat.